everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. If you are watching the podcast, welcome. And I am using my phone because I have some notes on here that I was writing out this morning as I was waiting in line at the Social Security office in New York to try and get my SSN, which is like a tax number. And I still didn't get it. And I've tried 3 times. And you know what? I am taking, like, honestly, I could be getting really pissed about this because my lawyers don't know what to do. It's like the USCIS is like working on my case, but like fuck knows what that means. And basically there's like a mismatch in the system. Like we don't even know what a fucking mismatch is. Anyway, point being is that it is very frustrating because we're trying to buy a house and we're trying to get a mortgage and I still don't have a US credit card and, you know, just all the fucking fun things of living in America. So to no avail, but I am choosing to see this as a gift. That if we were to get my SSN, we would have bought a house too quickly, and then the perfect house would have come up later, and then I would have been really upset because we didn't wait and all that kind of stuff. So I'm choosing to really see it as a positive rather than a negative, although I've wasted so many hours. And this morning I was up at 5:30 to be at the office. I'm not joking, at 6:30 a.m. lining up outside the office to get an appointment, because the other day I went at like 11, wrong decision. And I was in a line for an hour and a half. Then I left because I was like, I can't wait here any longer. I didn't even move for an hour and a half. It was ridiculous. Anyway, on that note, we are talking today about what actually is manifestation. I was going through my podcast because I don't know whether you guys know this, but I love to listen to my own content. I have bought other people's programs before, and not to be mean, but like I watch their programs and I'm like, this is shit. Like, I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, why is everybody teaching the same shit about manifestation? Like, okay, if you've done MMM level 1, or if you're in MMM level 1, or if you don't know what manifestation is and you're new to manifestation, then you need to fucking cover the basics. But, you know, people are talking about like this, like, you know, these different things that like no one's talking about. And then I watch the program, I'm like, this is the same fucking shit. I do it as kind of like market research, to be honest. I love to do that. I like to be I'm a little bit of a curious human being. So I like to watch other people's content and be like, great. I'm really glad I watched this because I know that what I'm teaching is different and not the same as what everybody else is doing. So if you are new to the world of manifestation, I would recommend joining MMM level 1. But if you are not new to the world of manifestation, then you can jump straight to level 2. And make sure you keep listening to the podcast because I'm going to announce the new offering. So don't go and buy level 2 straight away because you're going to want to know what the new offering is. Anyway, so today we are talking about manifestation and what actually is it, and wealth frequency and what actually is it. Because I drop the words, I say the things, and I was scrolling through my podcast and I was like, I don't even have a podcast about like what even is manifestation. Like, let's break it down. What even is wealth frequency? Let's break it down in Monica lingo. So we are doing that today. And it's a sad week for me because it is the last week in my glorious New York apartment. This apartment, this home is something that I am so proud of. It is my first real home that I created for myself. I've lived out of home before, but I was living in other people's apartments that was like already furnished and whatever. And, you know, my beautiful interior designer, who is my mom, but I fully paid her normal prices, because that's what you do when you respect people and their job. So my mom did an incredible job as my interior designer, and I do recommend hiring her. I will put her Instagram handle below in her website link. She did an absolutely incredible job of this place and just put me in an apartment. Like, I gave her such a polarizing brief of like, you know, masculine, feminine, soft, hard, you know. I was like, I want modern, but I want like, you know, also traditional. Like, I just gave her literally like opposites, because I am like high vibe, low vibe at the same time. Like, I don't even fucking get it. My poor boyfriend sometimes, he's just like, oh my God, here's another mood. Like, you know, Gemini rising, who knows? Emotional human being. So she just did the most incredible job. And I'd be lying if I said that there haven't been a lot of tears shed. Yesterday, I cried for majority of the day, probably why I'm a bit tired today and a bit drained, because I realized it wasn't actually about leaving New York. Like, I'm okay with leaving New York. I'm going to be back here all the time. And it is really hard living here and being in such a grounded relationship. Like, 2 empaths in New York just doesn't fucking work. So it's been, you know, I'm very okay with leaving New York. It is super hot right now. And I am very okay with leaving because the heat in New York is just not a vibe. It's too much. But I realized this weekend to leave my home is really, really hard. That's what's hard. But I'm going to do a whole other episode about leaving and everything very shortly. So you guys can tune into that as well. And then also, I want to remind you of two things. One, if you're in the behind the scenes bubble, please make sure that you leave your questions in the What Would Monica Do thread as a voice message. It's because we have a very exciting new podcast segment coming up called the What Would Monica Do podcast segment, where basically you can send me your questions as a voice message and I will reply to them on a new podcast segment. So if you're not in the behind the scenes bubble, I would recommend doing that. If you haven't already joined, I will put the link below so that you can do that. And then also, please make sure that you are reading the magazine. The latest issue is so sexy, so hot, so juicy. And I would highly recommend that you jump into it if you haven't already. Okay, let's jump in. So, what actually is manifestation? Manifestation is essentially thinking something into existence, right? So, when you think, when you visualize, when you imagine something, it feels like far-fetched. It feels like, oh, I dream about it. I want it. I would love to have it. That would be so nice to get. But then actually having it in your life is a whole other fucking thing. So manifestation is basically the act of thinking and imagining and visualizing something and then having it come into existence. So for example, you could manifest your dream man. And then when you meet him and you're in a relationship with him, you would say that you have manifested him. So you can manifest anything that you want, whether it's a car parking space or whether it's your twin flame. It doesn't matter. That is what, like, you can manifest absolutely everything and anything. And it is a powerful tool. So a lot of us feel like we don't have any control in our lives. And the truth is, in actual fact, control is an illusion, right? Like, we don't actually have any sense of control over anything per se, but it can feel really nice when we feel like we do have a sense of control. And this is where manifestation for me and for so many people has become something that we cannot live without. Like, I could not live without my faith, right? And with these practices, because they make me feel like I have some sense of control in the world. It allows me to feel like I can control my future and I can control my reality. The reality is that you actually can control your reality via manifestation, frequency, energy, the law of attraction, the law of action, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't listened to my Laws of the Universe episode, jump back to that one and I will get Ebony to link that in the show notes below as well. So if you feel like you have a very hard time surrendering and trusting in the process, and sometimes you can feel like life is happening to you rather than for you, I would recommend getting into manifestation stuff, because it will provide you with a lot of comfort and a lot of safety in knowing, well, actually, you can really influence what is happening in your life and whatnot. When it comes to what is wealth frequency, essentially what I want you guys to think about what wealth frequency is the fact that, like, we are all just atoms floating around. We are a collection of atoms floating around and we are vibrating at different frequencies, right? So when it comes to wealth frequency, if you want to be manifesting something in, the higher the frequency, the better the thing is, quote unquote, that you're going to manifest into. So think about it like, you know, if you are vibrating at level, let's say, for example, 5, but, you know, you wanting to attract in and be able to make 5-star resorts your norm, that would mean that you need to vibrate at a level 10. So in order for you to increase your wealth frequency, we have to increase your frequency and your vibration to a 10 to therefore be a match for staying in a 5-star resort, which requires you to be vibrating at a level 10, as an example. So when we are thinking about manifestation and attracting in things, and the same with wealth frequency, it's one and the same, and also attracting in different forms of abundance, right? We need to be thinking about two of the main laws, law of attraction and law of action. So most of you know the law of attraction, right? Like, what you think, you become. If you think about something, you're going to manifest it in. You know, we attract similar things. That's the law of attraction, right? Like, you attract in something, you're vibrating at a certain frequency. The other person or the other thing or the other opportunity is a match for your vibration, right? It's not going to repel it, like opposing magnets, it's going to attract it. Right. And don't think about like polarity as this, because polarity is different to attracting in the same frequency. So we want to vibrate with the frequency of the thing that we want to attract in. So the law of attraction is really important, but people always forget the law of action. And the law of action is important because you need to take action in order to attract that thing into your life. So the action piece could be you talking to somebody at the park and then X, Y, and Z happens. The action piece is forgotten. People just think, oh, I can just sit back and fucking journal all day. That's not actually how manifestation works. That's a component of it, but there are so many other really important components that can be misunderstood, or they can be simplified when actually they need to be explained in a little bit more of a complex way so that you can simplify it. So a couple of the modules in MMM level 2, I talk about things that can kind of feel a little bit complex. But when I break it down, you're like, actually, this is basic as fuck. I need to be doing this right now in order to get X, Y, and Z. So there are some key components that you need to be doing, taking the action on to be able to attract in what it is that you want to manifest. So please don't forget the action that you need to take to manifest in the thing. So if you want to manifest in, let's say, like a PR opportunity, you need to be sending out emails to PR, to magazines, for example. That will be the action that you're taking. Or, you need to be showing up more on your Instagram stories, or you need to start a podcast or whatever it is. That could be the action to get you out there a little bit more. Versus, the attraction piece of you journaling is also important, like manifesting and visualizing it in. But if you just did that, how could they find you? You want to make it easier to speed things up. Like if you want to speed up your manifestations, you want to make sure that you're hitting it at all angles. Actually, this is a good lead in. So the new offering that I'm bringing to you guys is something that I'm calling the Men and Money Bundle. And this is about hitting it at all angles. If you want to manifest something in, we want to hit this energy at all angles to speed up the process. And in order for that to happen, you not only need to be understanding manifestation, you also want to be making sure that you have a good relationship with the masculine so that you can be in your feminine and receive. You guys know this from listening to my podcast. In order for you to be in your feminine and be in that receivership energy and be in that surrender energy, you have to have a healthy relationship with the masculine. You have to be able to receive from the masculine. So this bundle is combining Be a Lover, Not a Mother with MMM level 2 to hit it at all angles. And I'm adding in an extra third thing. And the third thing is a wealth healing and frequency upgrade class. Now, you can buy all of these separate. So if you already have Be a Lover, Not a Mother, and you already have MMM level 2, and you want to come to, let's say, for example, let's say the wealth frequency upgrade event class, whatever the fuck you want to call it, then you can buy just that. If you already have MM level 2 and you want to buy that class and the Be Loved on a Mother thing program, then you can buy just those two. It's pretty self-explanatory. So they can be bought separately. However, if you buy them all separately, rather than buy them together, you will obviously be paying a little bit extra. Now, just in case anyone's thinking about this, if you've already bought MML level 2, or you've already bought if you've already bought MMM level 2, then you won't actually lose like that much money buying them separately. I should say lose, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to try to be perfect right now. Then buying the bundle, because the bundle, yes, it's like a bundle price, but you're also getting in there the price increase of MMM level 2. So whatever, don't overcomplicate it. Basically, I've worked it out so that it's as equal and as fair for the most amount of people as possible. I spent a lot of time working this out to try and make sure that like as many people were happy with this as possible. So please don't come to me and be like, it's unfair, because I've really spent, I'm not joking, like 3 days where my brain is going to fucking explode because the logistics of this have been very, very hard. But I wanted to create this because I just fucking know, because I've seen it for so many of my clients, that when they work on the men stuff, not just the manifestation stuff, things really come into fruition. Or when they work on the men stuff and then they also bring in the manifestation stuff, that's when they meet these amazing men, because they need to like attract them in and be doing those certain manifestation techniques and tools. So everything is complementary with this. And I would recommend joining both if you know you need to work on your receiving and your feminine embodiment and healing your relationship with men, as well as you want to be able to upgrade your manifestations and call in even more. I have added onto the website page as well, when you click the link below, I have added onto that page a little video that fully explains the whole situation as well. So you can watch that if you need to. And I will do a little Instagram live on the opening week. So you can come to that and ask any questions about it as well. Okay. So jumping back into it with wealth. So when it comes to wealth stuff, jumping from manifestation to wealth frequency, when it comes to wealth, wealth is an energy. It is not a physical thing. It is not, I'm wealthy because I have this handbag, right? Wealth is a feeling. It is an energy. You can feel wealthy and be in fucking trackies. You can feel wealthy and you could be, you know, in a dingy car, for example. Wealth is about a frequency. It is about an energy. So you like think about it like this, you can have $1 million in the bank, but be vibrating at the energy of scarcity. You could be having, you know, $10,000 in the bank or $5,000 in the bank, but be feeling wealthy, because wealth is a feeling, and that feeling helps to attract in more money. Right? Because once you're in that abundant energy, you attract in what you are. So if you're feeling wealthy, you're going to attract in more wealth and more money and more abundance. And remember that abundance can also come in the form of love, which is why when we are working on our relationships around men, that is going to help heal our hearts as well as women. So when we're healing our hearts, we can feel more love, and love is an abundant energy. And being in that abundant state will then also help us to attract in more of our manifestations and our money. Can you start to see how literally this is all combined? Like men, money, manifestation. It's all fucking combined. So think of how you dress, how you eat, how you act, how you exercise, how you hold yourself, how you talk. All of those things are going to influence your wealth frequency and the way in which you hold yourself, and you being that embodiment of your wealth. So increasing that wealth frequency is going to help you to attract in more wealth. It's going to help you be in the frequency of wealth. And it's also going to help you to feel that overflow of love and abundance in your life. So when it comes to manifesting, in order to manifest, the most basic tools and ways that most of us know and learn about is meditation, visualization, journaling, whatever. They are the most, like Pinterest boarding. They are the most common, like what's it called? Like what are those pin boards called? Vision board. They are the most common ways that we know how to manifest, and they are powerful. Like they are still fantastic. Do not stop doing them. They are great things to still be doing as much as you can to call in more of what you want in your life. And what's also really important for you to understand is that there is more than this. This is like the foundational level of manifestation that we all should be nailing. And then there are more things that you can be doing where your manifestation is going to just become integrated into your life. It's going to become part of your life. You're not going to need to sit down and visualize a million fucking things a day, because you're going to integrate it and make it become part of your life. And this is where doing the trauma work is really important for your manifestations, because if you don't feel worthy of your manifestations, or if you feel, a lot of anger and bitterness and whatever, you have a million different traumas, that can influence your ability to manifest with a lot of ease. And it doesn't mean that MM Level 2 isn't going to help you. It means also do Queen Alchemy, right? All of my programs, as some of you might not know, but I'm going to tell you right now, all of my programs, they complement each other. They do not overlap each other. Queen Alchemy and MMM Level 1 does overlap each other. So don't do Level 1 if you've done Queen Alchemy. But otherwise they're all different and they do not overlap each other. They complement each other very, very well. So the more complex tools around manifestation, I don't want to go into them right now because I want to keep this a little bit more basic when it comes to manifesting. But I do want you guys to know that the whole thing about act as if is fucking real. It is real. It doesn't mean push your emotions aside. It does, like, I don't want anyone to think with manifesting that if you're having a bad day, it means, oh my God, all your manifestations will go out the window. That's not true. And the thing with acting as if is it's not you faking it. It's not you being a fraud. It's not you being out of integrity in most situations. It means that you are embodying the energy of already having the thing that you want to have. And that's good because then you can vibrate at that frequency and at that energy to attract that thing in. Now, can you hold that shit up forever? No. But can you do it for a little bit of time? And it's still a good tool to be practicing. Yes. The holding it up forever shit, that's where level 2 comes in handy, and my other programs as well. Okay. So what I want you to understand is that how to manifest and when it comes to like how it happens and how to manifest, it can happen in so many different ways. And when you are really attached and focused on the how, that is when you get into your head, and that is when you can fuck things up. Because if you're trying to focus on the how, you take out the magic and the alignment of it. The beautiful thing is about manifestation is that it happens without you realizing when it's like, it's always in motion. We're always manifesting, things are always going, but we can forget sometimes. We can get really in our head. We can lose ourselves in environments, situations, things that are happening in our lives, states of the world. And we forget that these little moments and these little steps and these little decisions that we're making each day can heavily influence where we are going and what we are manifesting. So when it comes to the how, a really important part of letting go of the how is having trust and being able to trust the masculine. So when you are able to trust men and trust that masculine energy, because the universe is giving, which is that masculine energy, and we are receiving, which is the feminine energy. When you're able to trust that, it's going to help a lot. When you're figuring out the how all the time, you're not trusting yourself, you're not trusting the universe, and you're not trusting the process. And just think about it like this, like, having trust allows you, and being in flow and following those little niggles, those little decisions that you've made each day could allow you to have that big manifestation and not realize that all these little moments have added up to that. Like, let's just say, for example, like you took your dog for a walk to the park. He started like fighting with another dog, and then you started to talk to the owner of that dog, and then you were talking for a while, and you were talking about work, and this guy owns, this other owner owns a magazine. Talk about your job. The owner's like, oh my God, can you write an article for this magazine? Then let's say, like, I don't know, fucking Forbes 30 out of 30 picks you up and is like, oh my God, we love this chick or love this guy. Boom, you're in Forbes 30 out of 30. And little did you know, it all started with you taking your fucking dog for a walk. That is the power of manifestation, of all these tiny little things have to add up in order for me to get X. Like, even for example, like me and my brother talk about it all the time with manifesting each other, of like, these little moments have to have happened in order for us to have gotten on that same chairlift. We met on a chairlift skiing. For those of you that don't know that, like, we literally got on the same fucking chairlift. He was one of 2 others. It was me, his friend, and him. And the rest history, right? But we talk about it of like, so many things had to add up, but that for us to literally cross paths at the exact second, because if you know how to ski, chairlifts, like, they're here, they're gone, they're here, they're gone. Like, we didn't meet in a bar or at a line, we met on a fucking chairlift. Like, even all these little moments, we talk about it all the time, have to have happened in order for us to have crossed paths. Like, little things like my family coming to America earlier than anticipated, and possibly me having to have knee surgery, and all these little things that meant that we crossed paths at the exact time, because these different events influenced the timing of our trips and when we were skiing and how fast I could ski and how well I could ski. And little things like him, of when he got out of bed in the morning and the things that were holding them up, and all these little timing factors that meant that at the exact second we were on the same chairlift. Like, that shit is fucking fate, if you ask me. And there are other things that have happened that I will tell you guys probably a few years from now that, like, will blow your mind when I tell you, but I have to keep this just to myself, unfortunately. There are some things where, like, when I saw them, I was just like, oh my God. But anyway, I will explain that to you guys down the track. Anyway, so all these, when you understand that there are these tiny little moments, and in our head, our ego goes, oh, what's walking the dog gonna fucking do? Like, how's that gonna help me manifest? And it's like, you can't think about it on that minute scale. You have to think about it on like the fact that little things influence other things. You know, if you're waiting to be greeted by Prince Charming when you walk out your front door, I mean, good fucking luck. But if you could have the mindset of, I'm just going to flow and live my life and stay in alignment and follow the little niggles, that's when the magic can really happen. And that comes with trust and surrender. And being detached, right? So trusting the masculine, knowing that you are protected and provided for and looked after, and everything's going to happen. And then it's all going to happen at the right time and all those things. And so many of us women are so in control. Like, we are in, you guys know this from my podcast, we're in this controlling masculine energy all the time. So when it comes to manifesting, it's like, well, how can you surrender and relax? How can you trust the masculine? How can you let go when you're in this stress state all the time of trying to control everything? You can't, which is why with the Men and Money bundle, I wanted to combine those things together, because it's going to create a more potent experience and more potent results for you than just hitting manifestation from like one side, or just hitting, you know, surrender from one side. I'm like, let's bundle this shit together and throw in another live masterclass, because it's not really going to be a masterclass though. It's going to be like a healing call plus a Q&A. So we'll just call it a masterclass. Anyway, so the trust and the surrender piece is really, really important when it comes to manifesting and calling in more of what you want in your life. So if you're new to manifestation, a couple of things to note. You need to know what you want. Even if you don't know the exact thing that you want, you might know the feeling that you want. So you need to know what you want. You need to let go of the how, right? You need to be able to visualize it, write it down, think about it, get pictures of it, whatever you want, so that you can have a picture in mind to help you visualize. What that's going to do is it's going to help your reticular activating system to seek out more opportunities. You're going to see more things, because your brain filters out about 70% of what we see every day. It filters out things that it deems as irrelevant to you. But if you, like, if I said, for example, everyone, like, think of red. Okay. Think of red, red, red. Okay. Now look around the room. Tell me what's blue. You're not going to see anything because you're looking for red. All right. So your brain filters out what you think is irrelevant, and it's going to hone in on what is relevant. So if you are, you know, let's say, for example, if you are constantly talking about how shit men are, guess what? You are going to continue to see shit men. You are going to continue to come into contact with shitty men. But if you reframe that and you heal that, so you are now like, oh my God, men are just fucking beautiful. I love men. Guess what? You're going to start to have a lot more beautiful men come into your life. And the same thing as with manifesting. So that key component of manifesting, you know, where you know what you want, you're focusing on it, you're visualizing it, that's really important. And then coupled with that is like setting the intention and then letting it go. Once you've set the intention, you have to let it go. You have to surrender, you have to trust, and then you have to be in receivership. And that is the hardest part for us, to be in receivership, because we feel like we're letting go of control. And if you don't trust men and the masculine, your body will not feel safe to let go of control, because your body is like, no one else is protecting me. I've got to be in control. So you have a masculine shell around you, repelling your manifestations, repelling an increase in abundance, because you are not in receivership. And what is going to magnetize more money towards you, more opportunities towards you, more beautiful relationships towards you, is your feminine magnetism and radiance. That is not seen and not felt if you have a masculine shell around you and if you shit on mental day. So they are like the foundational things that I want you guys to understand about what actually is manifestation. So an exercise for you to do today is go and invest in something, whether it's clothing, program, dinner out, a hotel, whatever it is, acupuncture. Go and invest in something that's going to increase your vibration, that's going to say to the world, I am calling in more. And this is why investing is so powerful. And often people will see like they make their money back straight away, or like really random magical things will happen when they invest in themselves and when they invest in a program. And the reason why that happens is they have declared their worthiness, and they have said to the universe, but they're ready for more and they're taking this seriously. They have taken action towards having more, therefore they're going to get more. And like they're going to be in the energy of receiving more, right? And the energy of like, I fucking deserve this. So more things are going to be magnetizing into them versus being in the energy of, I don't need that. I shouldn't. Oh, I can just learn it from a book. All of that is scarcity. So what's going to happen is they're going to remain in scarcity energy versus being in abundant energy and seeing how investing in themselves is going to have a flow and effect. So let's put this straight into action. I've given you some tools, but something that you could do today is to spend money in an abundant frequency and in the frequency of I'm calling in more. And this is the new version of myself. And I am declaring via my purchase of whatever that I am worthy of having more and that I am deserving more and that this is my new reality. It's like when you start buying more expensive clothes, you would never go back to buying a $20 t-shirt because that's just like out of your fucking reality right now. Like you want to increase the bar, if you want to increase your wealth frequency and call in more money, start by stopping buying all the cheap options because the cheap options keep your minimum very low versus when you expand into more of the higher price things, your minimum is now a lot higher. So your minimum could now be like, I would never really spend below $500 on a dress because that would just seem weird to me. And that's because your energy has changed from where it was 2 years ago, for example. So all the details for the Men and Money bundle are going to be found on the website page. The link is below. I'm so excited to be doing this with you guys. Please read the website page. It is juicy. It has chicken nuggets in it. It is all downloaded straight from source. It is beautifully written. It feels like me. It feels like the program. So you can feel it in the words. Plus, it obviously has an outline of what's going on and the logistics of it. So I'm talking to your soul and your heart and also talking to your mind. So all the details are there. If you have any questions, please shoot me a message. When this opens, there is a wait list that you need to be on. The wait list will get the early bird price. When this opens, for the waitlist early bird price and then also for the public, if you have already bought Be a Lover Not a Mother, or if you have already bought Level 2, you will get an email that will also have the details of how to just buy everything individually. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to make everything as simple as you can, as simple as I can, as simple as I can for you all, so that it becomes really easy peasy for you to make that purchase, expand, and to be able to grow with me and be in some more of my energy. So, I only have a visitor. The boyfriend's here. So I have to go. I will talk to you guys later. Have a lovely day.